Why is my husband so defensive? Hey, I'm Sharon Pope. I am the love and relationship coach for women who are struggling in disconnected marriages and trying to figure out, can they stay and make it work, or is the only answer to leave? If you like what you hear, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Today we're talking about defensiveness inside of a couple and how to lower the defensiveness coming primarily from my husband towards me when I have something important that I want to talk to him about. So here's the deal. We unintentionally screw this up a lot. And mostly it's because we haven't been equipped with the tools that we need to be able to do this really well. So let me explain. Here's what most people do when they have something that they want to talk to their spouse about. The first thing they do is they might say the words, "We need to talk," and then they just start talking, which "we need to talk" never means I'd like for both of us to have a discussion where we can understand one another and come to some conclusion. What it really means is I have something that I want to say and you need to hear it. That's not setting ourselves up for success. We're trying to force feed something that we want them to hear. It's like force feeding someone. It doesn't work, and we're not setting the stage to have a real conversation. And then, since no one on the planet likes to be talked at or told what to do or what not to do, they get defensive. Whenever we feel attacked, we get defensive. And so when he gets defensive, he can't hear you. Anything it is that you are trying to share with him, he has shut down to it because now he has to defend himself against the attack that he perceives coming at him. And then we do this again and again, but then we make it mean that, oh, he must not care, and I don't even know why I bother trying anymore. So let me equip you with some tools so that you can do this better. There's always going to be conversations that we're going to need to have with our partners, but we need to set ourselves up for greater success and not so much defensiveness where he shuts down and can't hear. So here's the deal. Human nature, it's not a male or a female thing, it's just a human being thing. Human nature is that when we feel attacked, we will defend ourselves. It's fight or flight. It's been around forever. So I want you to look at the ways that you might have been unintentionally putting your husband on the defensive and then try a new approach. So the first thing I would do, first of all, I would ban the words "we need to talk" from your vocabulary because it's never going to go well. No one wants to be on the receiving end of those 4 words. Instead, what I might say is, hey, I've got something that I've really been thinking a lot about lately and I'd like to get your perspective on it. When would be a good time to do that? Right? Now, me saying that, I'm not just inserting myself into whatever it is that he's currently doing and then telling him what I need him to know. Right? I'm just saying, hey, I've got something I want to talk to you about. You let me know when is a good time. Right? So he's going to be much more able to hear you from that perspective. The second thing I would do is, instead of automatically diving in and telling him your perspective, instead what I want you to do is let him talk first. Yep, I'm going to say it again because you're not going to like it. Let him talk first. So you tee up the topic, let's say it's a parenting topic, and instead of just automatically going into, here's what I need you to know about my perspective, instead what I want you to do is tee up the topic and say, I'd really like to get your perspective on this. We've got some decisions to make, and before we do any of that, I just want to understand your perspective. Then he gets to share his perspective. And there's 2 amazing things that happen then. First of all, you know how we listen to one another in order to react or respond rather than listening to understand? Yeah, we all do it. He does it too. Well, now, because he's already told you his perspective, when you're talking, he's going to be paying attention. He's not going to be thinking about how to respond or rebut as much to what your perspective is. He's going to actually be listening because he's already shared his perspective. But the second thing is is that when you listen first before you just start talking, you learn what's important to your partner about this particular issue. It's a parenting issue. Well, what's important to him might be that your son feels a sense of independence and that you trust him, where you have more of a sense of his safety, and that's what you're worried about. But when you hear what he's saying, he's telling you what's important to him. And that can help the two of you come together in terms of the way that you communicate and come up with solutions together as a couple. Now, the third thing is you got to keep in mind, nobody wants to change just because you want them to. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, I want you to stop eating sweets. I want you to stop watching television at 10 o'clock. Or I want you to say, I love you more. Whatever it is. There's something probably embedded in most of these difficult conversations that you want your partner to change. But they're not going to change just because you want them to. So think about what's in it for them. Why should they change? Why should they want to change? Because they can change. They're just not going to do it because you want them to. They're going to do it because they want to. So for instance, let's say it was, I'd really like for you to stop watching TV at 10 so that we can, go to bed together. And he's thinking, I'm going to miss a show that I like. Why would I do that? Well, because then we would have more time to just talk or cuddle or be intimate with one another, where now we don't really have that option because I'm going to bed before you and you're staying up late watching television. Now he has a reason to want to turn the TV off and go to bed with you at the same time, right? So keep in mind, there's got to be something in it for him if you're wanting to see some change. So go into the conversation having some ideas about that. Here's the deal. Human nature, when we feel judged, belittled, disrespected, or attacked, we're going to defend ourselves. But when we don't feel attacked, there's no reason to get defensive. And when no one is defensive, now we can really hear and understand one another better. And isn't that the whole point of conversation inside a marriage? Okay, now real quick, because I know there's some of you sitting there going, I tried that, it didn't work. He still just yelled and got defensive. Okay, so I just want to say this. If you've been doing it one way for 10 years, and you tried it once and it didn't work, and then you wrote it off, here's the thing. He doesn't trust it yet. So he's got to see some consistency in terms of how you approach him so that he will let his guard down. If you've been doing it one way for 10 years and he always feels the need to defend himself because he probably feels that he's being attacked, then immediately, as soon as you enter into that conversation, for the next several times, he's going to have that habitual behavior of defending because he presumes he's being attacked. But if you can show him, let's call it 10 times, 20 times, or 30 times, that there's some consistency there and that you have no interest in attacking him at all, he's going to let that guard down. But don't try it once and then say, oh, that didn't work for me. Okay? If this was helpful to you, I hope you'll give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to know about when new videos come out, just hit the bell in the upper right corner. Take good care.